There we are. Hey, Chidarin. Just double checking technical stuff. Everything looks good to me. Sound waves and stuff. Alrighty. Let's get back in there. This time I don't need a refresher on where we left off. I remember from last night. Right, so we were at this very last hint, which we can just speed through because we already did it. Hey, Bam.
やっぱりこの程度のミステリーじゃこの二人には通用しなかったわね。
One thing I will note, Burn is just too calm for me to feel comfortable. Something's gonna happen now, or I don't know. She's taking it too well. Anyway. Okay, right. Those were all of the hints, and now we identified the culprits. And Burn is very happy. So I guess I select by clicking on them, right? So Rudolph, Kitty, and Battler. Okay. Okay, I'm scared. Hey, Matchan. The visitor who came late. Okay. Ah, so nothing happened? That was it? Okay. Oh, I see that the my Twitch is not loading my stream. Okay, no, we're fine. Yep, everything's fine. Alright. Angie flew out of the guest house, sobbing. Was there anyone still alive on this island? When she checked the cousin's room earlier, it had been completely empty. However, she remembered that she hadn't seen Battler's body, or George's, or Maria's. What she didn't know was whether this meant they were safe, or whether she was about to be reunited with them as corpses. The great sentences that we have to read in this novel. Yes, yes. Hey, Badge. She dashed around through the rain. Where was she going? Nowhere in particular. The lost little sister dashed around in circles searching for her brother. Drenched with rain and all alone. Eventually, I thought I heard my brother's voice from beyond the bush. No, it wasn't just his voice. I heard George Oni-chan's and Maria One-chan's voices too. I called out at the top of my lungs, but they didn't answer. But it's okay now. They're right there. Just on the other side of the fence. I could even faintly see them through the fence. When I ran around the fence, I found myself standing in front of a shed or something. It must be a shed to store tools for the rose garden. Ah, that one. Okay. The three of them were standing in front of the shed. I cried out, but my voice didn't reach them. Even though I yelled so loudly. Something felt very wrong about all this. When people hear a voice, even when they pretend not to have heard it, their bodies tend to show some sign that they've noticed. However, there was no trace of that in the three of them. Even though I was screaming so loud, it truly wasn't reaching their ears. The instant I understood that, my dash towards them slowed and came to a halt. Though we appeared to be in the same world, we were actually in different worlds entirely. It was like a TV. Or was it more like ghosts? I could see them clearly, but as far as they were concerned, I didn't exist. After all, look. Even if I stand right in front of them, their eyes can't see me. If I try and touch them, will I really be able to? What if my hand just goes right through? Hey, Viber. You think too highly of me. I was so scared at the thought that I could do nothing but stand there in shock, even though I was so close to them.
くそったれ。もう俺には何が何だかわからねえ。やっぱり島の外から何者かが入り込んでるんだ。そしてそいつが後ろ宮家を皆殺しにしてるんだ。
どんなに閉じこもっても必ず誰かが殺されてしまう。やっぱりこれは魔女の仕業。
みんな落ち着いて考えよう。この島には後ろ宮家の人間以外は存在しないんだ。
そんなはずはねえぜ。だって現にこうして後ろ宮家の誰にも不可能な殺人が何度も起こってるじゃねえか。
それはそうだけど、本当にそうだろうか。僕たちには見落としがあるんじゃないだろうか。
見落としって？
例えばそうさ、死んだふりとか。この島に後ろ宮家の人間しかいない以上、犯人だって後ろ宮家の人間しかいないんだ。だとしたら僕たちが死んだと思い込んでいる誰かが実は死んでなかったということになる。
しかし兄貴、それはありえねえぜ。全員の死体を必ず誰かが検視してる。死んだふりなんか絶対にできねえはずだ。
考えたくはない。でもその検視さえも偽られているとしたら、つまりこういうことさ。犯人は初めから複数犯だったんだ。そして一人は殺されたふりをして、一人は間違いなく死んでいると嘘をつく。そして死んだふりをした犯人は犯行を重ね、あたかも後ろ宮家以外の人間が島に紛れ込んでいるかのような幻想を生み出す。
ジョージの兄貴は後ろ宮家の誰かが犯人だって。
南條先生は殺された。殺された以上犯人ではないと考えるのが妥当だろう。そしてお医者である南條先生の検視が一番信頼できたと考えられる。
If so, then we can probably assume that the people whose death Nanjo checked were almost certainly dead. Who did Nanjo check? Genji's corpse, Kraus and Natsuhi's corpses, Shannon's corpse, Goda and Kumasawa's corpses.
最初の食堂の死体。あの6人の犠牲者のうち、南條先生は源氏さんの死体しか検証。
マリアたちがそれぞれ確認したはずだよ。
しかし南條先生が確認したわけじゃない。
何を言ってんだよ。あの無芸殺され方でどう親父たちが生きてるってんだよ。それにジョージの兄貴は何を言ってるんだ。ってことは俺たちの親の誰かが犯人だって言ってんのかよ。そりゃねえだろ。真っ先に殺されて、これだけ大勢が殺されて、どうやったらさらにその上俺たちの親が犯人だなんて言えるんだよ。許せねえ。あんな殺され方をした親父たちをさらにこの上疑って恥ずかしめるなんて。
ごめん。
マリアのママはちゃんと死んでたよ。じゃあジョージお兄ちゃんの親かバトラの親かどっちかが犯人？
Maria saying that with a smile on her face and with this chirpy kind of voice. Okay.
もうよそう、マリアちゃん。僕もちょっと混乱してたみたいだ。
ジョージお兄ちゃんはシャノンを殺さないよ。
もうよせよ。俺たちの誰も親族を殺したりするわけなんかねえだろ。
だからジョージお兄ちゃんが お父さんとお母さんが本当は生きてるのに死んでるなんて嘘をつかないと思う。ジョージお兄ちゃんはシャノンが殺されるような事件の片棒を担ぐわけがない。
Calmly, as though answering a quiz or a puzzle, Maria spoke to George. Then, with a blank look on her face, she turned to Battler and spoke.
バトラはお父さんとお母さんの死体を見たよね。
ああ、見たさ。みんなも見ただろ。あんな血まみれで、ひでえ死に様で。
バトラが嘘をついてると思う。
She says with a smile and a chirpy voice. Yes.
はあ？どうしてそうなるんだよ。
そうすると筋が通る。最初の食堂でバトラの両親は死んでなかったの。その片方が夏日おばさんたちを殺し、内側から鍵を閉めて部屋にとどまる。もう片方がそれ以降の殺人を引き継いだ。ゲストハウスの密室を破るには内側に協力者がいなくてはならない。それがバトラ。全部説明がつくよ。
いい加減にしろ
ー。よさないかバトラ君。マリアちゃんも。
やっと頭の中の狼と羊のパズルがぴったりと収まった。犯人はバトラ一家。おお、正解？
何を言ってやがんだ。
正解よ。
The voice came from behind Angie. She spun around, surprised. There, covered in blood, yet wearing cheery expressions, were Rudolph and Kitty.
ルドルフおじさん、キリエおばさん、無事で。
After saying that much, George realized what the words meant, and his face twisted into an expression of shock and horror. Maria wasn't surprised. However, she showed no joy at having her answer proven correct. And as for Battler, Angie saw it. Oh no. Oh no. A terrible expression that she would never forget as long as she lived. I don't like that in my Battler. Not on my Battler's face or in my Battler's heart, please. What is this? It was a demon's smile. A hideous demon that she'd never be able to look at again twisted its face in a foul grin. And the truly horrible thing was that she saw it on her brother's face. Rudolph and Kyrie lifted up the guns they had been holding behind them. The barrels were pointed at the foreheads of George, who was staggering backwards, and Maria, who was grinning as though she didn't care what happened. There was a flash of lightning and a crack of thunder. Nothing more could be heard. Then, as George and Maria were snapped around by that roar, the strings holding them were snipped. The two dolls fell into puddles with a splash and stopped moving.
お父さん、お母さん。
All of this occurred right before Angie's eyes. Me not like you. Angie, who stood stunned beside them, wasn't visible to their eyes. They guffawed, overcome with laughter. Then, right in front of Angie, they started joking and complimenting each other on their kills so far. No, I didn't either, Zeku. I hated every second of this. What is the point, please? Can we get to the point? The three hideous faces, the faces of her family, made Angie want to cry and vomit at the same time. and she felt as though she would suffocate. Who let burn cook? Lambda, I guess. Angie dashed away, covering her mouth. She wanted to escape the disgusting laughter coming from her beloved family as soon as possible. Then she slipped and fell face down in a puddle of mud. Angie didn't try to get up. In fact, she instead chose to cover her ears to block out the disgusting laughter that she could still hear. As she did, from the shadows of the fences and bushes in this inky black rose garden, several dark things slipped into sight. She's not burning the kitchen, she is burning the entire Rokkenjima. Or like blowing it into pieces, but yeah. Angie looked around herself in surprise to see that eerie black shapes had appeared from all over the garden and were slowly surrounding her. It was a crowd of people with goat heads. Their outfits were all different. Some wore suits while others were dressed casually. However, all of them were covered with darkness and all of them had goat heads. Meanwhile, the sprites are just the same thing copy-pasted all over. Yeah, I get it. Angie, bewildered, accidentally let her hands fall from her ears. By now, she couldn't hear that disgusting laughter. However, in its place, she could hear the words spoken by the goats. As the goats continued to mumble in eerie voices, they surrounded Angie and began to draw nearer. They all pressed around her, each of them speaking of Angie's family as the culprits. At first, everyone had joined in on the Eva culprit theory. The sole survivor from Rokkenjima had gotten almost all of the wealth to herself, so the theory was only natural. Why was Ushiromiya Eva the only one who escaped to Wadorian? And why did she refuse so stubbornly to talk about what happened that day? It was decided that the Eva culprit theory explained all of this. However, when Eva died of illness and people learned that all the vast wealth she had created by unscrupulous means would go to Angie, public opinion, or rather the forgers, created a new culprit theory and spread it around. This was the Rudolph's family culprit theory. If it was normal for everyone to come to the family conferences, why was Angie the only one who didn't come this time? Did Rudolph's family have some reason for not bringing the young Angie with them? They did take Battler, but he wasn't Kiria's son. Well, about that. Okay. Then, when it was revealed in some magazine that Kiria's family had close ties to massive gangster organization, all eyes suddenly gathered on Kiria herself. Then the truth was also laid bare about how Rudolph had made a killing out of fraudulent business practices, and almost immediately the couple became thought of as the most suspicious people on the island. Hideyoshi and Eva's company might have been rough, but at least they had operated within the law. However, the more Rudolph's company was investigated, the more dirt was dug up. Furthermore, trouble surrounding some party tickets from the time Rudolph and Kiria were students was also testified to. Trouble surrounding party tickets? What does that mean? It was clear that they were far more suspicious than Eva's family. And so, in a flash, the Rudolph's family culprit theory expelled the other conspiracy theories, including the Eva culprit theory, and reigned as the greatest of them all. It wasn't really because it was more plausible than the Eva culprit theory. They had just gotten bored of the old theory and wanted a new sensation. Yeah. You could do this about anyone involved in the story if you dig far enough and if you let your imagination run wild enough. I would say so. In episode 6, Kiria told that one of her first scams with Rudolph was selling party tickets to college. Ah, okay, I completely... Yeah, I forgot. Thank you, Featherine. The goats seemed to bend and undulate. The sky rapidly turned white, becoming a ceiling lit by fluorescent lamps. This is so disturbing. Oh gosh, why? The goats had changed completely, becoming the shapes of girls, wearing goat masks. All of the girls were wearing the same clothes. It was a uniform. The uniform of St. Lucia Academy. Yeah.
本当の犯人はルドルフとキリエなんだって。
聞いた聞いた。そうだよね。娘だけ置いてくなんてなんかおかしいもんね。後ろ宮エヴァって確か本人は毒殺されてるって訴えてんでしょ。じゃあもう黒幕は誰か明白じゃん。
いいよね。一族の財産すべて独り占めなんでしょ。
やっぱルドルフ一家犯人説だって思ってたんだよね。後ろ宮さんってどこかおかしいって思ってたんだよね。
おかしいと思ってたよね。ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
バトラも犯人じゃないの？ルドルフ一家犯人説。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
財産を独り占めにしようとしたんだけどエヴァに返り討ちにあってそれで失敗して。でも結局は後宮園児の独り占めなんでしょ。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人だって。
ルドルフ一家犯人説。ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。
ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。
後宮さんのご家族が犯人なんですって。それってどう思う？ねえね
え。でも結局財産は全てあなたが独り占めできるんでしょ。
後宮エヴァはそれであなたには何も語らなかったのよね。絶対にあの子が怪しいって思ってたのよ。
エヴァがあんたに辛く当たったことも全て説明がつくわ。
ねえねえ、何か言ってよ、感想とか。ほんと気持ち悪い子だよね。
ルドルフ一家犯人説ってどう思うか。ちょっとくらい何か言いなさいよ。感じ悪い。
A blade of air swept over me as I crouched down, holding my head. We know who holds a blade, right? In a flash, the illusion of the goat-headed girl students who were surrounding me shattered. I was curled up in a puddle in the rainy rose garden surrounded by goats. Nope. Okay, I'm thinking something else then. Not him. Okay. That would have been... I don't know what that would have been in this context, but I would have welcomed him happily. Sorry. I was curled up in a puddle in the rainy rose garden surrounded by goats. Okay. But then those goats were also sliced in half, and the upper halves slid to the side. It was like seeing a master swordsman slicing through a stick of bamboo.
こっち。
Oh! The voice came from that black cat. Interesting. The black cat with the bell that had guided me here. Incredible that it can talk. But that doesn't matter now. I dashed after it. Okay, the goats shrank back. I cannot help but have Sailor Moon reference vibes. Sorry. A hole opened up in the encirclement. The black cat dashed through it. As I hurried through after it, the goats began to chase after me. Countless heavy footsteps thundered behind us. The cat ignored my stupid question. Where are we running to? It's obvious. As far away as we can make it. However, there were an unbelievable number of goats. it wasn't just a group chasing us. There were probably goats hiding throughout the rose garden, and everywhere we went, a group of them would appear and block our path. Each time we bumped into them, we ran down a different path in this maze of a rose garden. So, I didn't even know which direction we were running in anymore. It couldn't be that we're just running around in circles inside a massive crowd of goats, could it? When we ran into the arbor once more, I learned that my fears were justified. The 4 paths that led from the arbor were all blocked by a crowd of goats. Of course, the path we had come down was also blocked by our pursuers. There was nowhere to go to, nowhere to return to. We were finally trapped. With a defensive posture, the black cat glared at the goats that surrounded us. It's all over for us. At that moment, I found myself floating in the air. A massive arm, large enough to crush my entire head, had grabbed my collar from behind. Before I could even think to cry out, I saw right in front of my face a pair of strangely glowing red eyes and a massive mouth with jagged teeth and a foul breath. The mouth opened wide, and writhing as though it was a separate creature, a disturbing tongue stuck itself out. Wait! Thank you for making me read that. That's fantastic. Great. Then it spat words at me. Then that gaping, smelly mouth slowly began to close over Angie's head.
反論。ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です。
A blue flash sliced off the top of the mouth that was trying to eat Angie's head, sending it flying. I fell into a puddle along with the goat that was still grasping my collar, though there was nothing left of it above its jaw. Alright. Without any hesitation, the goats stretched out their thick arms, as though this was their chance to snatch this prey for themselves, and they rushed towards me. All of them spoke in unison.
Rudolph 一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です。
Okay.
例えばジョージ一家犯人説でも可能です。
A red flash and a blue line became blades of wind that passed over my head, flew at the goat that had tried to pick me up, and sliced both of its arms off like a knife through butter. I think the next goats dashed, not towards me, but towards the black cat that was protecting me from behind. As I sat on my butt, staring up at the rainy night sky, the massive goats were in the air right above me, fighting the black cat. Or someone. Okay, I see.
ジョージが当該ですでに本件以外の殺人を犯していたならばこの島で誰も殺せなかったとしても犯人であり嘘をつくことが可能というわけです。
We're broadening the scope, though. The deep red curves cut by the swings bit into the goat. Its massive body was knocked into the air, became a bundle of roughly 7 logs of flesh, and was thrown into the rose bushes. This time the terrible force of the attack shocked the goats. They faltered, shook, stepped back. Finally I understood. That red slice. It had come from a weapon that could draw red trails. No, it had also drawn blue trails just a second ago. A massive scythe that could speak both types of truth, red and blue, at will. I looked up at the sky, then let my head hang down backwards. There was no black cat there. It was a girl, holding a large scythe. The implications that George had to kill a child before the story is kind of wild. Yeah. Let's not dwell on it too much, okay? Let's see where they're going with this.
いかがです？フルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能です。
A stir passed through the crowd of goats as they acknowledged the presence of this girl who called herself Erika. It was clear that her mere existence here was potent enough to unsettle them. Clutching me in her arms, Erika leapt into the air and landed as light as a feather on top of the arbor. Then she let go of me and, still wielding her scythe, made an elegant curtsy to the crowd of goats surrounding us.
初対面の方々がほとんどでしょう。自己紹介です。はじめまして。こんにちは。探偵フルドエリカと申します。ルドルフ一家犯人説しか思いつかない石ころ頭どもはどうぞお引き取りを。あるいは私を論破できるおつもりでいる皆さんはどうか歓迎を。無論私も歓迎して差し上げます。
The goats all howled at once. It seemed to be a cry of shock, of fear, or possibly of wonder. The face is so good, yeah. Typical Erika. What can I say? Rat is on the case, she is. The goats surrounded the arbor, chattering, but not moving any closer. None of them had the courage to stand against this detective, this witch of truth called Furudo Erika.
やれやれ、イクマンと集まってこのざまですか？どなたもこのフルドエリカと論戦を楽しもうという勇気がないのですか？ならば残念、お開きにさせていただきましょう。さりとてこのフルドエリカ、石頭の間抜け諸君を一人一人論破していくほど時間が余ってもおりません。後片付けは彼女にお願いすることとしましょう。 お願いします。
When Erika cried out, red cracks opened in the dark night sky. They looked like the spiderweb-shaped fissures that appear when a glass window has been struck hard. No, it actually was a spiderweb colored blood red. Yeah. I can't help it, her laugh is so ridiculous. A laugh, a witch's laugh, rang out through the spiderweb-covered world. It sounded somehow familiar to Angie. And there, standing above the spiderweb, gazing down on the goats who must have looked like ensnared little bugs, was the witch.
この私を差し置いて誰が六軒島の王者ですって？
We're getting out of the zoo with this one.
私を差し置いてルドルフが犯人？
It's like Umineko All-Stars, they're bringing back everyone. Yeah! The more the merrier, let's have a party with everyone. It was the witch who lurked inside of Eva. A witch of the future who would one day call herself an endless witch after the cat box closed over this
こ
world.
のエヴァ・ベアトリーチェを差し置いてこの島の殺人劇を誰が語ると
I gotta say, the expression on her face in this one is just 100 points. It's just perfect encapsulation and representation of everything that Eva teaches. It's a very good image.
おこがましいと知りなさい。この島のすべての生き死には私の手のひら。すべての財産も黄金もすべて私のもの。そして猫箱に閉ざされたこの1986年10月4日も5日もすべて私のもの。このエヴァ・ベアトリーチェのもの。
Eva swung her one-winged staff at the crowd of foolish goats beneath her and sentenced them to death. The spiderweb ceiling covering the heavens plummeted, and more spiderwebs seeped out of the ground at the goats' feet. Then the webs from above and below met, and thousands upon thousands of goats were caught in their grasp. Then, as Eva swung her staff, it swirled, around and around like egg yolk being mixed in a bowl. I'm not gonna be having eggs anytime soon after that. Okay, thank you very much. Eventually, it was all packed into a massive blood-red lump of goo. The moans of goats drifted out from inside. That entire crowd had been compressed into a meatball a few meters across.
私が犯人であることを疑うおバカさんたち。あなたたちはエヴァ犯人説で思考停止がお似合いです。潰れて消えちゃえば。
Squelch. Squelch, yes. No other word could do that sound justice. After sucking in all of those goats, the spider web ball vanished into thin air with a squelch. After that, there wasn't even a trace left. Only the nighttime scenery of the rose garden remained, silent but for the sound of the falling rain. Eva drifted down from the sky.
おばさんはいつだってエンジェちゃんの味方よ。あなたの家族の悪口を言う人なんか許さないんだから。エヴァおばさん。
I knew I should be grateful, and yet it really wasn't easy for me to believe that Aunt Eva was my ally. Eva realized that too.
いいの。感謝されたくてしてるんじゃない。でも私はいつだってあなたの味方よ。じゃあね。
My heart is doing weird things right now. She giggled, spun around, and vanished. Now that she had already left, I started to regret not saying even a thank you. So I figured I should at least thank the other person who had saved me.
助けてくれてありがとう。あなたはどなたですか？
I already knew her name, but what I was really asking was why she had saved me.
私は探偵フルドエリカ、そして同時に魔女でもあります。魔女？真実の魔女、未知なる真実を追求するものです。そして それはあなたのことでもありますね。
Those 2 days, October 4th and 5th, 1986. I was so desperate to know what happened that I took a step off the roof of that skyscraper, drifted through several witch games and fragment worlds, and abandoned myself to this long journey with no rewards. All I want is to know what happened that day. All I want is the single truth of that day.
それを求めるのが真実の魔女です。だからあなたは私と同じなんです。だから助けに来ました。
私は知りたいの。一体あの日に何があったの？誰も教えてくれない。誰にもわからない。でも確かにあの日に何かがあったの。私はそれを知るためなら何だって投げ出せる。それだけが私が命を捨てても知りたい唯一のことなの。だから教えて。あなたは知っているの？一体この島で何があったの？
真実の魔女にとって真実は与えられるものですか？私がこれが真実だとあなたに押し付けたなら、あなたはそれを鵜呑みにする気ですか？
それは違う。
バトラさんはあなたに今日何を見せてくれましたか？
Today, Oni-chan showed me a bizarre Halloween party. It may have been heartwarming and a lot of fun, but it definitely wasn't the truth.
バトラさんはそれを真実だと言ってあなたに見せてくれたのではないのですか？
違う。あんなの真実じゃない。
時に他人は真実だと称して私たちを惑わします。しかし真実の魔女はそれに惑わされることなく一なる真実を追求しなければならないのです。だからあなたはバトラさんの押し付ける偽りの真実などに納得できない。本当の一なる真実を求めてやまないのです。
Oni-chan is trying to muddy the waters. I felt that this whole time. Even though he knows everything about what happened that day, he won't tell me anything at all. How is he any different from Aunt Eva, who mocked me and refused to tell me anything, even until the very moment of her death? Why won't Oni-chan tell me?
どうして教えてくれないの？
The dam inside my heart burst.
どうしてお兄ちゃんは私に本当のことを教えてくれないの？どうして私だけ知らない。私だけ誰も教えてくれない。教えてよ。あの日に何があったのか教えてよ、お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。
I cried out at the rainy night sky. Hot tears poured from my eyes, but they were covered by the cold rain that beat against me, so no one other than me would know that they were tears. No one would know my pain and sadness. I'm always the only one left out, all alone.
教えてよ、誰か。あの日に何があったのか私に教えて。
誰にも教えられません。真実は自分で手にしなければならないからです。
真実はどこにあるの？どうやったら至れるの？みんなが隠す。教えてくれない。私の手で自ら至るから。お願いだから真実がどこに隠されているのかだけでも教えて。
いいわ。教えてあげてもいい。
Are we gonna have a face-off? As that voice rang out, the world bent and swirled. After blinking several times, I realized that the world had become a sea of stars. No, that's not quite right. There are stars up there in the sky, but those lights below me aren't stars. They're lights from building windows, street lights, car lights. I was floating in the dark sky over a city lined with skyscrapers.
あなたに真実を教えることはできない。でも、どうやったら真実に至ることができるのか、その道を指し示してあげることはできるわ。あんたは
Various bad memories are jumping out at me from the back of my mind. That's right. I was chained in place in that strange theater thing and forced to watch a repulsive fragment where Mom and Dad committed murder.
あれを真実だとは言ってないわ。
でもあんたはあれが真実だと。
あんたが大声で遮ったから続きが書き消えただけよ。これは全て真実とは限らないと続けようとしたのよ。
Truth of a sort, but not necessarily true.
あんたはどこまで私をもてあそぶ気なのよ。
それは謝るわ。でも試したかったの。
何をよ。
あなたがどのようなものであれ真実を受け止める覚悟があるのかどうかを。真実は時として期待を裏切るわ。あるいは最も望まない形を取ることもある。あなたに見せたあのかけらはおそらくあなたにとっては想像しうる限りの一番最悪なかけらでしょうね。でもそれに耐えてでも真実を求める力と勇気がなければあなたには真実に近づく資格はないの。
I see. I have no comeback. Finding the truth is my goal. I just want to know what happened on that island on that day. I don't think of myself as wanting to hear only the facts that are pleasing to me. Have I really been prepared to face the bloody, unbearable truth that's probably waiting there for me? If I find the truth, it will mean having to confront my family's tragic end directly, and accept it as it is. And accepting that means abandoning any faint hope for that convenient miracle. The idea that one of them might have survived somehow, and might return even though 12 years have passed. Even though I know a miracle like that would be completely ridiculous. If I'm honest with myself, I have to admit that the faint hope it brought me has given me comfort these past 12 years. I want to know the truth, but I want one of them to come back. Those two wishes contradict each other. By learning the truth, I'll be forced to accept that no one's coming home.
真実はいつだって残酷よ。時にそれは自分の希望を刈り取りさえする。多くの場合、人間は真実を得ることに対する対価に気づいていない。私はあなたにその覚悟があるのかどうか問いかけただけ。
I must choose between my two contradicting wishes. Will I find the truth and abandon my optimistic hopes for my family's return? Or will I give up on the truth and keep waiting for the family that's never actually going to come back, deceiving my numb self forever with the childish illusion my brother provided for me? I think these are just two extremes. But okay.
聞かせて、エンジェ。あなたに真実を知ろうとする覚悟は本当にあるの？
あるわ。
その決意は揺るがない？
揺るがないわ。
After hearing my immediate reply, Broncassa stared at me. Are those expressionless eyes of hers measuring my resolve? Now that my brother has even gone to the lengths of becoming a game master to cover up the truth, the only thing I can rely on in my search for the truth is the path that Burncastle can show me. When did I last hear Burncastle use that word? That's right. At the very beginning, I met her in this future world and became a witch, with her as my guardian. That's when I became the Beatrice of 1998, the one who could defeat the Beatrice of 1986.
あなたは1998年のベアトリーチェ、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。私が後見人となってあなたを魔女と認めた。でもあなたはベアトと同じ無限の魔女ではないわ。真実の魔女。そう、エリカと同じ。あなたは一なる真実を求め、いかなるまやかしにも騙されることはない。真実の魔女。エンジェ・ベアトリーチェには一なる真実にたどり着く力があるのね。あるわ。でもあなたにはその力をこれまで使うことはできなかった。どうしてかわかる？今ならわかるわ。私は真実を求めながら、その一方で真実を知ることを無意識に拒んでいた。そう、あなたは真実を求めながらも同時に真実を知ることで家族が帰ってくるかもしれないという奇跡が失われることを無意識に恐れた。だから一なる真実に手を伸ばす資格がなかった。言われるままだわ。私には甘えがあったことを認めなくちゃならない。
I must admit it, my entire family is dead. And with recognition of that fact, I must expose why they died, and who was behind it.
ありがとう。あの薄暗い劇場で見せられたかけらは、そんな私の目を覚ましてくれるものだったのね。あなたが本当の意味で真実の魔女となってくれるのを待つために、随分と多くのゲームを重ねることになったわね。でもその全てに意味があったと思う。この最後の最後のゲームであなたは真実の魔女に至れたのだから。教えて、あの日あの島で何があったの？それを直接教えろなんて言わないわ。だから指し示して。私は何をすれば真実に至ることができるの？ここは少し涼しすぎるわ。場所を移しましょう。どこに？マシな紅茶が飲める場所へよ。
Okay, we're back here. Is she so silly? Who are you talking about, Angie or Burn? Massive applause filled the hall. It was applause in honor of a good fight. Applause in honor of Burncastle. Okay.
そしてベルンカステル教のゲームもまた素晴らしいものであったぞ。
みんなにも彼女のゲーム版を公開するので、ぜひ挑戦してみてほしい。かなりの力作だぜ。
結局は解かれてしまったけどね。
Yeah.
誰にも解けないゲームなんてゲームじゃないわ。肝心なのは面白かったかどうかよ。
面白かったぞ。そこはわらわも保証する。
俺もだ。最初はこんなの解けるわけがないって思ったが、一つずつ有効になる紫発言を使い容疑者を絞っていくあたりはパズル的な面白さがあったぜ。
さあみんな集まれ集まれ。
ベルンカステル教の推理ゲームってどんなのかしら。
それはやってみてのお楽しみ。
Objects resembling chessboards were set out on several tables. Crowds gathered around each, looking down with interest.
ほうほう、これは論理パズルのようだね。
なかなかの正統派ではありませんか。
これが魔女のゲームってものなんだね。
はあ、こうやって見るとただのゲームなんだよな。でもこれコマにとってはとんでもない大事件なんだぜ。
それもそうですな。
せっかくのベルンカステル教の手土産です。楽しませていただきましょう。
Eleanor's so cute.
しかしこれは難解ですね。本当に解けるようにできているのかどうかさえ怪しくないですか。
解けるようにできていることをまず信じろ。問題は解けるように出されていると出題者を信頼して初めて思考の戦いは始まる。
その点は俺たちも保証するぜ。さあさあ、ぜひ挑戦してみてくれ。
With Butler's encouragement, discussions over Brunkesel's mystery game began at each table. The mix of humans and fantasy creatures in heated discussion was truly a sight to behold. Beto and Brunkesel sat in a chair far off from the discussions.
お茶にご希望はございますか。
わらわには何か落ち着く紅茶が良い。それをミルクティーにしてくれぬか。
かしこまりました。ベルンカステル教は何かご希望はございますか。
紅茶に梅干しを沈めてちょうだい。まずい紅茶を飲みやすくするコツよ。
Bern has no chill. She out of the gate calls the the tea that Genji would be serving terrible.
そうへそを曲げるなというのだ。そなたのゲームは実に面白かったと称えているというのに。
Since she had emerged victorious in the game Brunkesel had put all her heart into, the look on Beto's face was positively gleeful.
別にへそを曲げてなんかいないわよ。
You always are. Come on.
私はもともとこういう顔よ。
Sure.
そんな表情の中にベルンなりの温かみを見出せた時にね、私は真っ暗闇の雪山の頂上で美しい星を見つけたような気持ちになるのよ。
Sure, Lambda.
悪かったわね。顔がいつも万年雪で。
やれやれ。ベルンカステル教を称えることは難しい。なんと褒めても嫌味と受け取られてしまうぞ。
大丈夫よ。後でしみじみと噛みしめるタイプだから。
ほうほう。ベッドの中で枕を抱きながら噛みしめるタイ
Oh,
プか。
oh, so sorry. Lying and hugging her pillow. I can't imagine Bern doing that one.
そうそう、そんな感じそんな感じ。
It's cute. Beto and Lambda Delta giggled together. Brunkesel shrugged and looked away.
でもよ、よくひねった面白いゲームだったぜ。
そう、ありがとう。
解けないようにも作れるのに、お前はちゃんと解けるように作ったもんな。それはゲームを楽しもうというフェア精神がなけりゃできないことだ。
私は絶対に勝てるゲームが好きよ。勝てないかもしれないゲームなんてめんどくさい。
今度は講師を逆にしてゲームをしたいな。俺が出題して、それにあんたが挑戦する。あんたが俺に勝つゲームだ。もちろんこれまでのベアトとの戦いで培ったノウハウの全てをつぎ込んだ
Know-how.
超難解なゲームにするぜ。俺が2連勝しちまうくらいのつもりの。
あんたもベアトも、あんたたちって つくづく面白い考え方ね。
何がだ？
ゲームは勝敗を決するための手段でしょ。そしてそれを仕掛けるからには至上目的は自分の勝利のはず。なのに自分が負けるかもしれないゲームをどうしてわざわざ仕掛けるの？
絶対に勝てるゲームなんてつまらないだろ。そんなのゲームじゃない。勝つか負けるか、そのフェアなやり取りが面白いんじゃないか。ゲームってのは戦いじゃない、コミュニケーションなんだ。その過程を楽しむ。勝敗という結果はまあおまけみたいなもんさ。
やっとベアトたちと私の考えの何が違うのかはっきりと理解できたわ。
違いって？
あんたたちにはコミュニケーション、私にはそうでないということよ。
お前ずいぶん殺伐とした世界に生きてるんだな。
あんただってベアとのゲームを理解するまではそうだったはずよ。永遠のゲームは永遠の拷問。その苦しみをあんたはもうきれいさっぱり忘れてしまったというの。
確かにそう思った日もあった。しかしもう決着はついた。そうなれば過去のことはぐちぐち言わない。ノーサイドってやつだ。
そこに私とあんたの致命的な違いがある気がするわ。あんたにとっての永遠の拷問は笑って水に流せる程度のものだった。私にとってのそれはそんな生優しいものではなかった。そういうことだわ。
I can see why this is a cool conversation. Others in the past, not so much.
あんたの生い立ちは知らねえが、
Or at least for me, they were very stressful.
苦労があったみたいだな。
なりごまごときのあんたに同情されるとは私も焼きが回ったもんね。
Barncastles, sipping the black tea that Genji had brought her, gazed up at the ceiling with a faraway look. Battler may not have known her history, but even he was able to understand a bit of how she felt.
今のあんたは誰かの拷問に苛まれているのか。
まさか私は自由人よ。誰の束縛も受けない。
ならよかったじゃねえか。少なくとも昔とは
そうね、昔に比べたらだいぶマシだわ。退屈から逃げおおせるための長い長い終わりのない旅だけれど。
ならこの出会いは少なくともお前にとってはいいもののはずだ。
そうね、敗北の味も多少は退屈から私を遠ざけてくれるわ。
No, no. Battler was shaking his head and laughing.
俺たちはフェアなゲームを戦って楽しんだ。
だから
もしお前の日々が退屈から逃げ回るためだけのものだというなら、たまには俺たちのところに寄るといい。俺たちは友人を歓迎する。そして友人を退屈から逃すためにいろいろなもてなしやねぎらいをするだろう。
この大ベルンカステルを一夜とて退屈から逃すもてなしをあんたらができると。
ああ、それが友人ってもんだ。今夜のゲームでは俺たちが勝った。だから次に来るときは攻守を逆にしよう。今度は俺たちのゲームであんたをもてなす。もちろんあっさりと勝ちを譲るつもりはないぜ。とことんひねった極悪な推理ゲームで挑戦してやるぜ。一夜で解かせるつもりなんかねえ。それこそ数ヶ月は頭をひねって滞在する羽目になるくらいのを用意してやるぜ。
この大ベルンカステルを友人としてもてなすと。
ああ、そうだ。
あんたたちに付き合ってると、せっかくの梅干し紅茶もなんだかベタベタに甘くなってくるわ。やってらんない。
ベアトに聞いたぜ。梅干し紅茶とやらが好物なんだってな。金箔まぶした最高級梅干しを紅茶に放り込んでやるから、それを楽しみにしてまた来いってんだ。
もし本気でそう思ってるなら、もう少しはマシな紅茶を用意することね。こんなまずい紅茶じゃ二度と来てやろうという気にはならないわ。
Wow.
やれやれ。普段はよっぽどお上品な紅茶を飲んでやがるらしいぜ。むしろ今度その紅茶が飲めるところに招待しやがれ。
あんたは？私は？
フェアだろ。俺たちももてなす。だからお前も俺たちをもてなせ。
そうね、フェアだわ。
だからゲームもフェアに行こう。攻守を交代してまたゲームをしようぜ。その機会を楽しみにしている。今回は俺たちの勝ちだったが、次はわからねえさ。
そこまでおごれれば大したものだわ。でもね、あんたは一つ勘違いをしているわ。
何をだよ。
私のゲームはまだ終わっちゃいないわ。最後に勝つのはどちらかしらね。
After taking one more sip of her black tea, Broncassa set her cup on the table, wearing a thin smile.
ここの紅茶は甘すぎて飲めたもんじゃないわ。源氏、ありがとう。下げてちょうだい。
かしこまりました。
Broncassa asked for her tea to be taken away after taking only 2 sips. Butler smiled, realizing that this was just Broncassa's way of being shy. Butler, why are you smiling with such a foolish, carefree face? If you really think this final game will be nothing but a happy epilogue, then I'll have to invite you all to a proper game for bringing this tale to a close. I don't like this. What is this? Butler, you forget things too easily. Don't you remember in whose hands lie the key to this final game? In whose hands lies the key? I guess that's what it's supposed to say. Yeah, okay. The inside of my nose itched. I'd never regained consciousness to a smell before. Slowly I opened my eyes. Wait, when did I lose consciousness in the first place? I don't remember going to sleep or falling unconscious. It's just like last time, isn't it? That's right. Broncastle invited me to come to a place better for drinking tea. That's when my memory gets hazy. And since the smell of black tea is what woke me up...
ここはアウアウローラの書斎よ。紅茶の趣味がいいことだけは、たとえあいつであっても認めざるを得ないところだわ。
I was sitting on what appeared to be a sofa in a dimly lit study. Broncassa sat across from me, and right before my eyes was a beautiful cup filled with steaming hot tea.
ここは確か。
I remembered. I've been here before. Wasn't it?
久しぶりだな、人の子よ。
Yes, that voice. Just hearing it brings back memories.
久しぶりじゃない、我が主。
そなたを再び我が書斎に招けるとは思わなかったぞ。まさかそなたたちのゲームにまだ続きがあろうとはな。
続きなんて甘いものじゃない。これが本当の最後のピリオドのゲームよ。
This was the study of Featherine Augustus Aurora, the majestic witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating. Once in the past, I was summoned by her in order to be her reader, or Miko.
まさか私をまた朗読役に？そなたを呼んだのは私ではない。我が巫女がそなたと私を引き合わせたのだ。何のために？決まってるじゃない。あんたに真実に至るための道しるべを示すためよ。フェザリーヌが私に示してくれるの？私は感激の魔女だ。舞台の上の役者に干渉することはあまり好まぬのだがな。バトラの退屈な芝居を感激するのと、私の手による運命の分岐を司る刺激的な芝居を感激するのと、どっちを好むのかしら。退屈に1分1秒だって耐えられないくせに。
As Featherine rocked her rocking chair, she looked up at the ceiling and chuckled. She clearly holds some key to the truth I seek.
鍵を握っているのは文字通りそなたではないか。私にできるのはその鍵で開けることのできる鍵穴を教えることだけだ。人の子よ。
I don't remember saying anything out loud, but Featherine answered my question as though I had. Come to think of it, that's right. Featherine can read the thoughts of a mere child of man like me as easily as she can hear me speak. Well, I guess that will help us get to the point quicker.
この鍵はお兄ちゃんがくれた。でも使うべき時に使い方がわかるみたいなことを言って、何に使えばいいのかは教えてくれなかったわ。あんたたちは知ってるの？この鍵は何？お兄ちゃんはとても大切なものだと言っていた。我が巫女よ、説明せよ。嫌よ、あんたが説明しなさい。主に説明をさせようというのか？たまにはその程度の舞台参加もしなさいよ。ボケ防止にいいわよ。
Oh my god.
いやエンジェの朗読の時に久々の舞台を堪能したので、もう数百年は十分だと思っていたのだがな。教えて。
Chidori's happy.
この鍵は
I
何な
like
の？
seeing that.
そなたの決断を具現化したものだ。この物語は、ゲームはそなたにある決断を求めることで終わりを迎える。その決断するという行為を鍵の形に具現化したものがそなたのそれだ。私の決断を具現化したもの。そういうこと。最終的にあんたはおそらくバトラからその鍵で開けられる2枚の扉の前に立たされ、どちらの扉を開くか選択を迫られるでしょうね。それくらいは聞かされてる？何も教えてくれない。叱るべき時が来ればみたいなことしか言わないの。お兄ちゃんも誰も何も教えてくれない。バトラはそなたの自由意志による選択を尊重したいのであろうな。でもエンジェ、もううすうすは気づき始めてるんじゃない？何を？バトラはあんたに選ばせたい答えがあるんじゃない？
Those words made my heart jump in my chest. I've been thinking that Oni-chan is clearly trying to distance me from the truth, to gloss over it with a vague tale that's almost like a daydream. I don't know if the intention there is to distance or gloss over, but okay. At the 1986 family conference, everyone had a wonderful time as they faded away. Everyone is smiling down on you from heaven, so you don't need to feel alone, even in 1998. So give it your all and live on by yourself. I get the very strong sense that Onichan is intending to end it just like that. And every time I ask him about it, he dodges the issue and says something about how the decision will be mine in the end.
その通りよ。バトラは一見あなたに公平な選択肢を与えるように見えて、実際はあなたにはっきりとある一方の選択肢を選ばせようと画策している。そのための茶番のような物語をあなたはすでに延々と見せられているでしょう。
That unbelievably bizarre Halloween party. Everyone so strangely friendly that it was almost sickening. I've already seen more than enough of that tale, so sickly sweet it makes me want to vomit. Where Ushiromiya Kinzo showered me with affection, where his children swore to support each other, where everyone was filled with happiness and hope.
仲良し小良しで煙に巻いて私を真実から遠ざけようとしている。お兄ちゃんは卑怯だわ。
確かにそなたから見れば卑怯とも呼べよう。しかし思い出すがよい。そなたはこのゲームのプレイヤーであり、バトラがゲームマスターだというなら、それは何を意味するというのか。かつてバトラはプレイヤーで、ベアとはゲームマスターだったわ。そして二人はそれぞれの真実のために戦ったわ。そして今度は
私がプレイヤーでゲームマスターはお兄ちゃんだわ。
Could it be that I've misunderstood everything from the very beginning? I mean, yeah, you've kind of been jumping to conclusions, lady. I love you, but you you have. Onichan said he'd tell me what happened that day, so I was under the impression that I'd learn everything if I followed him. How would that be any different than, say, Onichan accepting everything Beato said about the crimes being the work of a witch? What a stupid mistake I've been making.
このゲームは私とお兄ちゃんの戦いのゲームだったの？
それを理解せずにゲームに臨んでいたとは驚きだ。
Yeah, okay, but like, remember I mean, I don't know, actually. The conversation earlier was just with Burn and Battler, but... You say a fight, but he's trying to tell you something! His purpose in the game is to communicate, no?
バトラは狡猾だわ。それをあんたに理解させずに最後のゲームをさっさと始めてしまった。まあ、かつてのベアとのゲームもそうだったわ。バトラはわけもわからないうちに彼女のゲームに巻き込まれていた。戦い方さえわからずにね。だから私が教えたわ。今度も同じよ。わけのわからないうちにゲームを始められてしまったあんたに私は教えに来たのよ。あんたは誰と何を戦うゲームをしているのかをね。
I was too shocked to speak. And finally I realized what I needed to accomplish in this game. I've always been passive. I was sure that Onichan would tell me everything, so I naively thought I just had to believe whatever he said.
違ったのよ。そうじゃない。
This game is a battle between me, the one who wants to reach the truth, and Onichan, who wants to trick me and chase me out into a 1998 where I'm all alone. The last part, it feels so misrepresentative of the truth. It's crazy, but okay. All this time, I've kept on saying that Onichan was foolish and naive. And now I see that I was more naive than anyone else. Despite this, Burncastle didn't sneer at me. On the contrary, she looked at me with that cold gaze as if to say, so you've finally taken the first step.
理解できた？ 自分とその鍵の意味。
I gripped the key that Onichan had hung around my neck, and for a while I shook with an emotion that even I couldn't understand. Now that I know Onichan tricked me, it would be easy to hate him. But hating him would be missing the point. After all, this is a game between me and him. Onichan has done nothing but make the optimal moves to win against me. If games aren't just a playful way to communicate, if they're the process that decides who wins and who loses, then there can be no fair games. The best strategy is obviously to hit your opponent with a sneak attack and defeat them before they even know what's going on, never even telling them the rules. Okay. In that sense, Onichan hasn't done anything wrong. He's using that sickly sweet illusion to trick me and force me out into a lonely future. Yeah, the music is stressful as all hell. They'll be the only ones having a good time in the cat box, and I'll be the only one chased out.
ありがとう。感謝するわ。ようやく本当の意味で目が覚めた気がするわ。バトラーを憎まないであげて。ゲームマスターとは本来相手を一方的に騙すものなのだから。分かってるわよ。お兄ちゃんはお兄ちゃんの立場で最善を尽くした。ただそれだけということよ。なら私も私の立場で最善を尽くさなきゃ。
My goal is now clear. October 4th and 5th, 1986. What happened on Rokkenjima that day? I need to tear off the veil covering the truth. Nothing more, nothing less.
お兄ちゃんは私にこの鍵をお兄ちゃんが望む鍵穴に入れさせたいのでしょう。
No.
そのために私に延々と
I mean,
甘ったるい幻想を見せつけた。
I guess she needs to process this until she understands. So this is her in the process of doing that.
でももうごまかされないわ。私は私の望む扉を自ら選んで開く。ぼんやりとバトラの言いなりになっているエンジェよりはこの方が確かに私の好む物語であるな。じゃあ続きを今度こそあんたに任せるわ。
All of this bath mouthing of Battler doesn't really sit well with me right now. The music inspires confidence. She makes the best choice. Yeah, she's... I don't know, wasn't the whole point of not letting other people lead you astray on your path of finding the truth? Wasn't that the conversation with Erika just now? And now the two of them are injecting their own ideas into her head. And she's accepting it only to rebel against Battler because she's upset that she doesn't understand what the heck he's trying to do with that. Isn't that kind of like what's happening? Burns Doom Squad recruiting another girl with bangs. Yeah.
エンジェに教えてあげて。真実に至る鍵穴を。
Right, so there you go. Then, how is this a choice in the end? Because, like, you're still being told what to do. Yeah, anyway.
教えて。
The choice would have to come from within Angie, after her own journey in search of what her choice should be or stuff like that.
私にその鍵穴を。いいだろう。まずは腰を下ろすがいい。今持ってこようぜ。
Could the music just chill, please? When Featherine rose from her rocking chair, my vision seemed to twist and bend. What? Some kind of interference? Why now, when Featherine's about to show me something important, is my head getting suddenly... Ay, 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 ay. I dug my fingernails into my knees, clenching my teeth to keep from losing consciousness. However, the world just kept twisting more and more. Except for the feel of the sofa beneath me, I couldn't sense anything at all.
Ojo.
Ai?
先方がいらっしゃったようですぜ。
I'm always happy to hear his voice. Are we back here? What's happening? The door opened and Hachijo Toya appeared. What's going on? This isn't the world of witches, but the world of humans? I was sitting on a sofa and Amakusa was behind me. There's no need to feel confused. Featherine and Hachijo Toya are the same being. To her, the difference between the two worlds is a trivial thing. To put it in the words of that lover of theater going, it's like having a slightly different background behind the stage. So there was no reason for me to feel hesitant.
今度は八条先生と呼べば？名前というもののなんとややこしきことかな。ここに私とあなたがいることに何の変わりもないのに、あなたは私を何と呼べばいいのか迷わねばならない。そうね。フェザリーヌと呼ぶのもあなたにとっては無粋というわけだわ。役者にとって自分の演ずる役の名前など仮のものでしかない。そういうことだ、人の子よ。
フェザリーヌ
Amakusa's eyes went wide as he wondered what I was suddenly talking about. I ignored him and continued.
それで、あなたは私に何を見せてくれるの？
As I spoke, my eyes were caught by that heavy-looking object she held under her arm. At a glance, it looked like an encyclopedia with the fancy binding.
これをご存知ですか？
As Featherine spoke, she set the heavy object on the table. My first thought was of a grimoire. The heavy book had a mysterious mystical feel to it, like something Maria One-chan might carry around. And the most remarkable feature of it was the large, sturdy lock that held it shut. Why would someone go so far to keep people from reading a book?
手に取り、裏をご覧になるといいでしょう。裏？
I flipped the heavy book over on my lap. And as soon as I saw it, I gave a small gasp.
エヴァ。後ろ宮、エヴァ。
Without a doubt, those words were written there in English letters.
これは何？エヴァおばさんの日記？
ひょっとしてこいつが噂の。
あんた何か知ってるの？
噂程度ですがね。エヴァ会長は秘密の日記を持っていて、それには厳重に錠前をかけていて、出先に行く時も必ず持って行ってたって話は護衛仲間から聞いたことがあります。
秘密の日記？それがどうしてここに？後ろ宮エヴァが息を引き取った病室にあったものです。
This diary was hidden behind her bed, so it remained in that room for some time after her death before it was found. It was probably someone who worked for the hospital, or else a patient or their family who happened to find it. Of course, by that time there was a huge movement dedicated to the Rokenjima mystery. A locked diary found in the hospital room where Ushiromiya Eva spent her last moments would be absolutely priceless. The discoverer probably handed it over in secret to one of the witch hunters, who would be able to accurately determine its worth. Luckily, the witch hunters who got their hands on this book were all noble and upright people. Not content to boorishly destroy the lock and reveal the truth, they simply satisfied themselves with the fact that the truth of that day slumbered just on the other side of this mysterious lock. Thanks to that, Eva's diary has remained undamaged to this very day.
後ろ宮家長男クラウスの妻夏妃は日記に記すことでそれを封印するというある種のまじないをしていたことが すでに知られています。
同じことを
可能性はありますな。その日記の蝶つがいを外すのはたとえ鍵があったとしてもかなり面倒だ。まるでギチギチのコルセットみたいに封印してやがる。
Amakusa was right. This wasn't a diary made to be casually opened and reminisced over. It's probably safe to assume that this diary was used to forget things by writing them down and sealing them away, just like Ushiromi and Natsuhi's. And on top of that, Eva brought it with her into her hospital room, then hid it behind the bed without telling anyone about it.
まさかこの日記にエヴァおばさんがあの日何があったのかを記しているとでも。
中を読めば全てがわかるでしょう。
That is wild speculation that you're engaging in right
そ
now.
の錠前を外す鍵の行方がわからないのです。
I jumped. Then I looked down at my chest. That's where my brother hung that key.
ない鍵。
どうしたんですお嬢。鍵って。
私がずっと首にかけてたでしょ。
俺は知りませんぜ。鍵なんざぶら下げてましたか。
I understood almost immediately. In the world of humans, I haven't found the key. The me with the key is on the game board in the world of witches.
鍵を持っている私に戻して。この日記を開けるわ。
Featherine lifted a finger, spun it around, and the world twisted again. When I returned to Featherine's study, the key faded back into existence, hanging from my neck. But at the same time, the diary on my lap faded out of existence. I thought about it for a brief second. Yeah, okay.
日記はどこに。
Yeah.
ゲーム版のどこかに存在するだろう。そなたに与えられる鍵穴の一つである以上、必ずどこかに存在するはず。
But you only get to it if you play the game?
お
Is that
兄
the
ちゃん
point?
がどこかに隠している。
バトラがあんたとのゲームを気取る以上、それはおそらく完全な意味では隠されていないわ。
どういう意味。
バトラにとって奪われたくないキングであっても、それはゲーム版に置かれていなければゲームとして成立せぬということ。
つまりあの後ろ宮家のどこかにあったということ。
あるいはすでにそなたには一度目にする機会が与えられているのかもしれぬ。詐欺師が一番最初に見せる契約書に極小の字にてすでに悪辣なる罠が記してあるかのように。
バトラがゲームマスターとしてミステリーの作法とやらにのっとるなら、手がかりは必ず提示され、バトラが負ける選択肢も必ず提示されている。エンジェ、思い出しなさい。あんたはすでにバトラの世界でエヴァの日記を見ているはずよ。
In that instant, from the back of my mind, drifted the very first scene of this final game. In the chapel, a book lying on the altar, a book with a lock on it. As soon as I showed interest in that book, my brother suddenly got serious and told me not to touch it.
あれがエヴァおばさんの日記。
そうよ、後ろ宮エヴァの日記。あの日の真実を記した一なる真実の書。
一なる真実の書。
We're giving it this name, okay.
それに本当の真実が記されているの。だってそれはエヴァおばさんの妄言の可能性も。
赤き真実で私が断じよう。後ろ宮エヴァの日記一なる真実の書には1986年10月4日から5日にかけての六軒島の真実が記されている。
Black cat scratch marks. Cute. The discussions over Berncastle's reasoning game were getting heated at each of the tables. At some point, each table had started competing to see which could solve it first.
ベルンカステル、エンジェとエリカはまだ到着しないのか？
もう来てもいい頃よ。どっちが先に到着するか。
エリカが遅くなるのはともかく、エンジェもずいぶん遅くなったわね。一体どこの深淵に突き落としてたやら。
失礼ね。ちゃんとソファーに紅茶でくつろいでもらってたわよ。
ベルンカステル教の好む紅茶がエンジェの口に合うと良いのだがな。
確かにな。
失礼ね。誰の口にだって合うわよ。エリカなんか、私の紅茶はポットの最後の一滴からお味噌の壺の底まできれいに舐めとるわよ。
Okay.
なぜそこで味噌が出てくるんだ？
That's exactly what I was thinking. What does miso soup have to do with anything? What's happening?
それにしても
burn.
エリカか。あやつとは久しぶりの再会になるな。
そういえばそうだな。名探偵殿があのベルンカステルのゲームを解くのにどの程度の時間をかけるのか。
She'll be very... I expect that she'll be very efficient at it. Just Erika things, I guess. I guess bad.
あの子は得意よ。こういうゲームは。多分、上から下までを3度も読んだら、もう答えを出しちゃうんじゃない？
だろうな。正解をご満悦で語る。あいつの顔を早く見てやりたいぜ。
It's gonna be, yeah, Battler, you're the culprit.
いやいや、それどころかあやつのこと。いろいろとへりくつをつけて、バトラ一家以外にも犯行は可能だ、などと。
だな。むしろ正解より、その自信たっぷりのへりくつが聞きたい気分だ。
Or that, okay, okay. Apparently Battler and Bato were looking forward to their reunion with Erika. They had already dueled with Erika in 2 separate games. But now, there was no distinction between foes and allies. They truly wanted to welcome her to this after-show party, as a friend.
それにしてもちょっと意外な感じ。
何が？
だってあんたがこんなにもあっさりエンジェを解放するなんて。
Making sure that Battler and the others couldn't see her face, Lambda Delta snickered.
そんなに意外？
意外よ。ベルンのことだから解放せずに次々とバトラに難問を突きつけていじめ抜いたり、あるいはエンジにおかしなことを吹き込んでゲームを最後にかき回してくれる程度のことはするんじゃないかと思ってた。ベルンのことを世界で誰よりも知っているつもりでいたのに、予想が外れてがっかりよ。
言うわね。でも安心して。やはりあんたは私のことを世界で一番理解しているのは。
そりゃそうよ。このラムダデルタ様は全宇宙で一番ベルンのことを愛してて大好きで理解しちゃってるんだから。
Lambda Delta was flustered by Berncastle's apparently friendly words, which were very rare coming from her.
バトラス様、ご歓談中失礼いたします。
Just Lambda things, yeah.
エンジェ様がお帰りになりました。
おお、帰ってきたか。よかった。無事か？
雨に少し濡れてしまったようで、今熊沢がタオルを用意しております。
When Battler heard this, he breathed a sigh of relief. Then he turned to face Berncastle, showing her a forced smile, as though apologizing for still suspecting her just a little. Berncastle showed no reaction and simply continued to wear a blank expression with a slight smile, as per usual. Just burned things.
様のお帰りでございます。
ただいま。
バ バトラ、エンジェが帰ったぞ。
エンジェ、よかった。心配したぜ。
Angie stared at Battler as he dashed towards her with a relieved smile. Her expression seemed somehow indifferent.
バトラったらね、あんたのことを私が鎖か何かで岩蝋に吊るしてたとでも思ったみたいよ。
いやいや、そこまでは思ってなかったぜ。
ベルーンカステルの友人の家で紅茶をごちそうになってただけよ。なかなか美味しかったわ。
味噌とか梅干しは入ってなかったか？
入ってるわけないでしょ。
As Angie spoke bluntly, she walked right past her brother and exchanged a few whispers. A few whispered words with Berncassel.
どうしたバトラ？
いや、なんでもない。
If he said that his little sister being cold to him had left him feeling forlorn, Beato would either laugh at him or scratch him. After all, Angie was a girl at a tender age. She might be in a bad mood for reasons that a man like him couldn't understand. Taking note of this and having satisfied himself that Angie was okay, he made to walk away.
バトラ、エンジェが呼んでいるぞ。
ああ、すまん。
さっきから呼んでるわよ。無視しないで。
Oh my gosh.
別に無視してたわけじゃねえぜ。なんだよお前、さっきから機嫌が悪いぞ。
大方、ベルンカステル教に珍しい紅茶とでも偽られておかしなものを飲まされたせいだろう。
あんたに用はないわ。ちょっと引っ込んでて。お兄ちゃんと二人で話がしたいの。
そうはいかぬぞ。わらわはこう見えても領主夫人。バトラに関してはすでにそなたよりもわらわの方が。
悪い、ベアト。少しだけ席を外してくれるか。
By now, Battler had realized that Angie's issue was more than just a slight bad mood. Beato puffed out her cheeks as though she wanted to say something back. However, she just let out a sigh and walked away.
これでいいか？
ええ。だってこれは私とお兄ちゃんのゲームでしょ。プレイヤーは私、ゲームマスターはお兄ちゃん。私たちの間にいくつ駒が入り込もうと、結局は私とお兄ちゃんとの直接の戦いであることに何の変わりもない。
まあ、確かに俺がゲームマスターだが、別にお前と戦ってるわけじゃないぞ。この最後のゲームは、お前を1986年の六軒島に招待するために開いたものだ。
ゲームは勝敗を決するために行われるものよ。敵と味方が揃って初めてゲームと呼ぶ。そこをごまかさないで。
お前、何を言い出すんだ。
すっかり騙されていたわ。
Infant Queen B. Ah.
私も最初はお兄ちゃんが1986年のあの日に招待してくれるのだと思ってた。でも違う。これは全部お兄ちゃんの茶番じゃない。甘ったるい物語でお茶を濁して私を煙に巻いて、孤独な未来へ安っぽい温かさを手土産に追い返そうとしているだけじゃない。私は最初から求めてるわ。あの日六軒島で何があったのか。それに対するお兄ちゃんの答えがこのゲーム、この甘ったるい幻想パーティー。私の問いに対するお兄ちゃんの答えはもはや明白だわ。私は真実が知りたい。そしてお兄ちゃんに教える気はない。
エンジェ、いいか、そうじゃない。
ごまかさないで。これは私とお兄ちゃんの最後の戦いのゲームだったのよ。
One second.
私はあの日の真実を求める。そしてお兄ちゃんはあの日の真実を幻想で覆い隠そうとしてる。何も変わらない。お兄ちゃんとベアトが戦ってた時と何も構図は変わらないのよ。もうすぐで私はお兄ちゃんに全てをうやむやにされたままゲーム版を追い出されるところだった。おあいにくね、私はもうこのゲームは私とお兄ちゃんの戦いであることをもうこれ以上は簡単に騙せると思わない。
Angie's shouting tore apart the peaceful atmosphere. The family members and the residents of Fantasy gulped and watched the scene, wondering what was going on. Beto tried to run up to Battler, but he motioned for her to stay back.
何が望みなんだ。
最初からただ一つ、1986年の六軒島の真実、それだけを私は求めてる。
真実は猫箱の中に封じられてる。猫箱の外のお前にはたどり着けない。
だからこの甘ったるい幻想で私をごまかそうと。
確かにこれは幻想だ。だがお前にこの楽しい雰囲気を、親族の和気あいあいとした気持ちを思い出してほしかった。あの日あの島で何があったかじゃない。お前が忘れてしまった親族会議の温かな雰囲気を思い出してほしかったんだ。
それはお兄ちゃんが押し付ける一方的な幻想よ。私はそれを断固拒否する。拒絶する。
1986年の真実など存在しない。猫箱の中は虚無だ。お前はありもしないものを求めてる。
私はもう騙されないわよ。存在するのよ、あの日の真実は。それは唯一の生還者によって書き残され現存している。
Battler's expression faltered for just an instant, and Angie didn't miss it. So he was hiding it after all. Oni-chan has been hiding the book of the single truth from me.
エヴァおばさん、あんたが死んでから私は初めて感謝するわ。あんたがしっかりとあの日の真実を書き残してくれていたおかげで、私は真実を知る最後の機会を得た。
エンジェちゃん聞いて。あの日記はおばさんのデタラメが書いてあるだけで何の意味も。
ごまかしは不要よ。あんたの日記にはあの日の真実が記されているとすでに赤き真実で断じられているのよ。
バカな。ゲームマスターのバトラ以外の誰が赤き真実を使えるというのか。
アウアウローラね。
正解よ。一なる真実の書が1998年という未来世界の存在。その中身に赤き真実で保証を与えるという大役が他の誰にできるっていうの？
ベルンカステルは全てを教えてくれたわ。私はもうお兄ちゃんに騙されない。私が欲しいのは甘ったるい幻想じゃない、本当の真実。そしてそれをいくら1986年のお兄ちゃんが覆い隠そうとも1998年の私には暴くことができる。なぜなら1986年のベアトリーチェがお兄ちゃんで、私は1998年のベアトリーチェだから。
A cyclone rose up around Angie. Okay. It was a golden swirl of gold butterflies, just like the golden witch Beatrice. Aye, there we are, okay. I was wondering if there would be a costume change. There it is. Yep, outfit change.
過去の魔女は決して未来の魔女には勝てない。
The cyclone of gold broke apart, and as gold leaves scattered across the room, the final witch, who would inherit Beatrice's name in the future, appeared.
Angie, Beatrice.
あんたは黄金と無限の魔女。私は違う。黄金と真実の魔女。いかなる幻想も私を拒むことはできないわ。さあ、お兄ちゃんの退屈なパーティーはもうおしまい。ここからは私のパーティーになるわ。パーティーを賑わせるゲームだって用意してきた。よろしくね、エヴァおばさん。え？
Listen. When Angie snapped her fingers, she vanished among a swirl of gold butterflies. In her place in the middle of the cyclone, a girl wearing a dress appeared, bowing modestly. I noticed. Yeah, I noticed Featherine.
お前は
失礼しちゃう話よね。私にだけパーティーの招待状がないなんて。
そなたエヴァ。
私は六軒島の唯一の生還者。そして1986年から1998年まで黄金と無限の魔女を名乗るミラ・バトラ君の甘ったるい幻想なんて。未来の世界では湖面に落ちる一粒の雪より儚いわ。さあ楽しんでちょうだい。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。あなたたちの無限の推理を。
When Eva held her hand to the heavens, light gathered there and took the form of a bottle. Yes, a bottle. A glass bottle with no label. There was no alcohol inside. Sealed within it was a fragment that let off a pale, sinister light.
バトラ、それはまずい。割らせてはならぬ。
But she's done it already.
さあ、ショータイム。
Okay. Whatever that means. The bottle was slammed against the floor and smashed to pieces. As soon as the fragment within it touched the outside air, it flashed white and burst. At first it seemed that nothing had happened. However, Eva grinned at them before becoming a cloud of butterflies and vanishing. Come to think of it, Burncastle was gone as well.
あいつ何をしやがったんだ。
おそらく未来の世界より持ち帰ったかけら未来の猫箱の中身とでも言おうか。
つまりどういうことだ。なんだ。
At that moment, they heard a tremendous hiss. It was as though large chunks of hail had started falling everywhere. An earthquake accompanied that noise, and the whole mansion groaned. Dust began to fall from the ceiling. At the same time, it seemed as though the curtain-covered window glowed with a pale light.
一体何事だというの。
キリエ、外。何よあれ。
Everyone rushed to a window in response to her voice. Of course, Battler and Beato went too. Oh wow. Then they drew the curtains, looked at the scene outside, and were stunned into silence. Ginzo's words spoke for the first impression felt by all who looked out the windows.
美しいものが無害とは限らねえ。
That's what I was thinking. Just because it's beautiful doesn't mean it's good.
美しいなんとかにはトゲがあるのはお約束に。
Though everyone found the scene beautiful, it gave them all an ominous feeling. Outside the window, countless small objects, crystal fragments glowing pale blue, lay strewn about everywhere like fallen hail. The word fantastical perfectly summed up the scene that lay before them in the glowing rose garden. Nah. To be fair, I cannot make any statements about Burn either way. I still have no idea what kind of expectations I should have of her.
今あそこ何か動いたわ。おい、あそこに誰かいるぜ。いや、あの光るかけらから人影が生え出してる。煉獄の七姉妹戦闘態勢。
With those words of Lucifer's, everyone finally realized that they were surrounded by danger. One by one, the countless fragments shook and burst, and large dark bodies rose up from inside each. They were giants with goat heads. One after another they appeared from the insides of broken fragments. The realization that the countless fragments lying all over the rose garden were responsible for the blue glow covering the entire area sent a wave of cold terror rushing over all present.
45全周警戒。レーダーが真っ白です。ジャミングされてるか、もしくは乱反射無数、敵数確認不能。
Even as she said this, the glowing rose garden outside the window was filling with giant goats. The fragments carrying the goats weren't just in the rose garden, they were spread evenly across the entire island. Not just the rose garden, but the entire area around the mansion had to be half covered with goats by now. That's a lot of goats!
緊急。包囲されたものと申し上げ立てまつる。
見りゃわかるぜ。
どうするのバトラー。
招待状がねえ客ならお引き取りいただかねえとな。こいつら何者なんだ。ベアトのとこの従者ってわけじゃなさそうだな。
ヤギの姿はこのゲーム版の駒の形を模倣しただけのことでしょう。リーチやリーヤの眷属じゃないわ。もっと厄介な何かよ。
なるほど。ボトルメッセージの具現化というわけですか。
ボトルメッセージ？ベアトの？
違うな。こいつは未来の住人たちの妄想のかけらだ。
猫箱はそのうちに無限を秘める。その結果、箱の外の住人たちはその中身を無限に想像することが許される。その無限の妄想がこやつらの正体だ。
あのヤギたちは私たちをどうするつもりでしょう。
仲良く握手ができる雰囲気には見えへんで。
あいつらは私たちがこの島でどんな惨劇が繰り広げられたかを勝手にでっち上げてはルフして回る最悪の連中よ。私が真実を語らないことを面白がり、勝手に次々と惨劇を生み出して。
なるほど。1986年の猫箱を勝手に妄想する。
未来世界にはありとあらゆる解釈が存在します。それらは私たちが否定しない限り、全てが全て真実だと言い張り、この島に居座り続けるのです。
これは厄介なことになったね。
私たちは包囲され、絶対絶命のピンチというわけだわ。
あいつら何を
食べてるよ。
あいやいやい。
バラを食べている。
The squirming crowd of goats was busily doing something. If you looked closely, you could see them sticking their heads into the rose bushes and munching away. And it wasn't just the rose bushes. Light poles, the bricks of the flower beds, and even the stone paving itself. They were biting all of it. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Almost as if they were trying to eat up the whole island. They're trying to eat up the... I'm tempted to say the reality of this place and have it be overwritten by fiction, but I don't know what reality even is anymore. The word is not fitting, but you understand what I mean.
ただ食べてるんじゃない。食べているんじゃなければ一体何だと。
あれは食っているのではない。侵食し削り取っているのだ。このゲーム版そのものを。
ゲーム版を食うだと。
未来の世界では誰もが今日の私たちは惨劇に飲み込まれたと信じてる。だから彼らは和やかに過ごす私たちの真実を認めないの。
過去の真実は未来の真実の前に劣る。あのヤギたちの無慈悲なる未来の顎と牙は我らの真実を認めず彼らの期待する真実で侵食する。
ふざけやがって。これが俺たちの真実なんだ。勝手に未来のそれもよその奴らの期待する真実に塗り替えようとするんじゃね
え。Oh my god, that's creepy as all hell. Okay. No, please. Stop. The garden outside the window was now filled with too many goats to count, all chewing away. This repulsive scene stole the words from everyone's lips. They weren't just stunned into silence, there was just no point in making a fuss and letting the goats know for no reason. I always hated when I play chess with a goat and it starts... Oh, good one, Moth-chan. Oh, that's crazy. Ay. No point in letting them know that there was plenty of prey waiting in this bright, warm room. Prey that was softer and more satisfying to chew than roses or bricks.
あのヤギ、こっちを見てますよ。
静かに。騒いではダメだ。
こっちへ来ますさ。まずくありませんか。
This again. Take it away. They saw one of the newly born goats head slowly toward their window. There was already a huge swarm of them in the garden, so it was no surprise that when one of them looked around for new prey, it would see the light from this window. Its immense, eerie body slowly approached. As it grew closer, they could finally see its disturbing form clearly. The eyes blazed and yet were still cold, ruthless, and reptilian. The cruel fangs and jaw could tear apart and crush anything. Any fangs that could chew through brick would hardly have a problem chewing through humans. Its massive body had to be taller than the windows themselves, and it was lumbering towards this window.
この窓は実は後ろ宮家特注の防弾ガラスだということ
ねえ防弾程度であの巨体の剛腕が防げるとは思えぬぞ。
うわー、来た来た、かけてくる。
緊急。この窓を許すことなきなりと知りたてまつれ。
The power of Cornelia's seal formed a shield around the glass. The goat was blown back, unable to even touch the glass because of this power. Its weight made the earth tremble. They could feel that clearly even inside. But that tremor had also drawn the attention of the nearby goats. A pack of goats started shuffling closer, and then realizing that they were in competition for this new prey, the pack quickly broke into a thundering charge. Ay ay ay. Oh, thank you, Zeku. The window protected by Cornelia's seal would probably be safe. However, there were many windows in the Great Hall. For the first time, those windows became a source of terror instead of sunlight and a lovely view. Gertrude sealed another window. The goats trying to break in through that one were thrown back. But at the same time, those inside the building heard the terrible crash of a third window being shattered. Scattering fragments of glass everywhere, the massive goats broke through the window frame and entered the building. Poor Goda. Those words really were coming from the goat's mouth, along with steaming foul breath. However, it didn't get the chance to say anymore. Forehead, neck, shoulder, chest, side, gut, knee. The stakes of the seven sisters buried themselves in deep one after another. Several other windows shattered one after another, and goats squeezed their way in through the window frames. Their mouths were still stuffed with the bricks they had just been snacking on. Each time they chewed, it made a ghastly sound like bones being crushed. Ay ay ay.
待ちな。ドンパチやっても、さらに騒ぎで他のヤギたちを呼び寄せちまうだけだ。
2階へ逃れるのだ。階段を封印すれば時間も稼げよう。
みんな、大階段を上がれ。急げ。
After sniffing noisily as though scanning the smells around them, the goats started chewing on whatever chairs, tables, or curtains were close by. The goats would chew anything to bits, as long as it was near them. If the others were careful not to attract the goats' attention, they would be able to escape from this place. The humans ran on ahead up to the second floor, while the fantasy creatures who were used to fighting guarded the rear. The goats were completely absorbed by their all-consuming feast in the hall. Oof. Even the portrait of Beatrice, which might have been called the symbol of the whole Ushinomiya family, had now been brutally chewed up.
バトラ、人間は全員2階へ避難したぞ。
よし、ドラノール、すべての階段の封印を頼む。
ガートルードたちが行います。しかし、時間稼ぎが必要です。
Loud beating sounds, whether that could be called knocking, was unclear, and sounds of shattering glass could be heard from all parts of the mansion.
さて皆さん、お仕事の時間でございますよ。
煉獄の七姉妹、ここに。さあ行くよお前たち。今夜は食い放題だわ。シエスタタイ、外部タスク、オールスリープ、自動更新切断、データは取るな、捕虜は取るな。
第7管区アイゼルネ・ユングフラウ、領主命令により任務を開始します。
助立ちするぜ。リオン、お前は足手まといだ。2階へ上がってろ。
でもウィル、ここは私たちに任せ、あなたは上へ。あなたにも家族を守るという仕事がありますよ。わか
かりました。皆さんご無事で。
The mansion was filled with the sounds of bashing, crushing, smashing, and chewing. The goats and their wave of destruction were drawing steadily closer.
バトラ卿、ガートルードたちが別階段の封鎖を完了しました。残る階段はこの大階段だけです。あっちの階段はちっちゃいから早いわね。でもこの階段は大きいから時間をかけそうね。時間稼ぎが大変だわ。
Lambda Delta spoke as though it was someone else's problem. It only took a glance at her face to see that she had no intention of lending a hand. Even so, Beato didn't scold her. This was a game between Battler and Angie. Lambda Delta was only a theater goer who had been invited.
悪く思わないでね。虚無に食われたら私だって死んじゃうわ。悪いけど私は傍観者に回らせてもらうわ。
もとよりそなたは傍観者だ。助力を頼めぬのは残念だがな。
気を使ってんだろ。俺たちの見せ場を奪わないために。
多分そういうことにしておきましょう。
As a Voyager witch, Lambda Delta could retreat from this game board of battlers if she wanted to. In other words, she was the only one who wasn't in trouble now.
じゃあね。ベルンとあんたたちのゲーム見届けさせてもらうわ。応援してるからね。
ポップコーンを食べながら。
Yeah. Okay, now I'm hungry. Yes.
もちろん。今日は醤油バター味にするわ。
Oh no, no, don't do that to me. That sounds amazing. Lambda Delta vanished with a pop. As soon as she did, a black hole opened up in midair and Gob fell out of it.
バトラ、リーチェ、ちょっと来てくれる？多分見た方がいいものよ。
今すぐにか。
ええ。
行こうぞ。みんな、ここを頼むぞ。
When Gab snapped her fingers, a large hole opened up under Battler and Beato, swallowing them both. Then it spat them back out again. When it spat them back out again, they were in an inky black sky. Both of them were floating in the night sky. They could see Rokkenjima far beneath them. And as soon as they realized this, they shuddered.
これは
群れじゃねえ。こりゃ海だな。
It was no longer a crowd of goats, but an entire sea of them. Just as Rokkenjima poked out from the ocean, the mansion was now poking out from a sea of goats.
未来人ってすごいな。
Oh my god.
一体この島での惨劇をどれだけ大勢が妄想したというのかしらね。
猫箱の外の寝言に過ぎぬわ。一掃してくれようぞ。
それからあれを見て。分かりにくいと思うけど海岸線を見て。
海岸線？
船着き場が分かりやすいわ。よく見て分かる。
まさか。
ああ、多分そのあいつら食ってやがるんだ。
What?
島ごとな。
Ah, okay.
さあさあおいでなさい、未来のかけらたち。虚飾を幻想をまやかしをすべて食らい尽くしちゃえば。
As Eva yelled this to the heavens, hovering above the raging sea, hail fell down with a pale glow. Yeah, apocalyptic. Each one was a bottle with no label and a fragment inside. They poured onto the island, smashing into bits and scattering the fragments inside them everywhere. Every now and then, one of those fragments would split in two, then split in two again, and every single one of those fragments burst and gave birth to a massive goat. To say it was like bamboo shoots springing up after the rain would be a vast understatement. The goats writhe about like bubbling, boiling water in a pot. Yeah, okay. They ate away at everything they saw. They didn't just eat the harbor, but the trees and rocks, the entire coastline itself. Hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of goats continued to eat. They were chewing away at every bit of rock and jima, of this final game that Battler had prepared.
悪いわねバトラ君。ミラーはこの島に惨劇を望んでいるの。エンジェだって真実を望んでる。虚飾も幻想もまやかしもすべて食らい尽くしてあげるわ。
By now, Battler and the others had to admit it. The future wanted a tragedy. Even if the truth of this island had been a gentle, peaceful thing, the future didn't want that. The truth they wanted was painting over the past. Oh my god, the music calmed down. Thank god. No! No, it started again, god damn! I thought it was gonna, like, I don't know. At least for a moment, take a chill pill. Alright.
なんて奴らなんだ。
I
俺たちはそんなにも惨劇にぶち込みたいってのかよ。
Well, I will soon because I kind of feel like I am at my own personal limit for tonight, so I would want to find a spot to make a save. The Halloween party was the chill pill, now we're straight gas. Oh yeah, Chidori. So yeah, let's see, maybe we can land on some spot somewhere.
私が見せたかったのはこれでおしまい。
Okay, that's what the Gap wanted to show us.
戦況の判断に役立ったならいいんだけど。
ああ、ありがとう。おかげで最悪の気分だ。
じゃあ、次は書斎に行ってちょうだい。
Okay, we move to the study and make a save there.
ゴールドスミスが呼んでるわ。
Okay, that sounds... It's a change of scene, it's perfect. Gap snapped her fingers and another black hole swallowed them up and spat them out into the study. Yeah. I can see it's kind of like a continuous type of thing. Here we are, with Kinzo. Alright, so then we take this as our chance and we save. Do we have, by any chance, do we have the full costume of... we do. I wanted to see that. Ooh. Oh, I see, like ballet shoes stuff. I see. I see. It's blue. I like. Has a lot of cool details. I just... I hope Angie snaps out of her dark tone phase, though. I hope she's getting there. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Alrighty. Let's leave it there for now. Music is not gonna take a chill pill anytime soon from what it seems, so... We will induce a chill pill until next time. Emo face, yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. Just a face. Ay. Okay. No, this has been quite something. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Alright. Hey. Thank you very much. Not just for joining and being awesome as always, but doing that on a different schedule than we had established previously and in such short notice. So I appreciate you for managing to come by and for spending these last 2 hours and 20 minutes with me. It's been super nice as always. Oh, yeah. Thank you for being there and listening to me and, you know, as per usual, going through the madness together. I still have the music ringing in my ears. I might dream it tonight. Sorry, Pete. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go wind down before going to bed. This has been really nice. Thank you very much. It's good to be back. Good to have our 2 stream a week thing going on again. And yeah, we will pick it back up next Tuesday. Yeah, oh. I'm happy I'm able to provide Chidolin for you. Always anything. Gladly. And yeah, so for Umineko, I will see you again next Tuesday as per the usual schedule. It was just an exception this week to do it on Wednesday. And if there is interest, we can do some Honkai this Saturday in Discord. We can talk about that. I will be playing it for sure, so if there's interest to have it be a shared experience, I'm gonna be all up for it because I've missed it, and I'm sure it will make me very, very happy, like it did in the past when we did those streams. So yeah, let's chat about that, I suppose, in the coming days and figure it out if that's something that we shall be doing. For tonight, okay, yay. For tonight, this will be it. My brain woke me up way before my alarm this morning, so now my eyes are very heavy and I'm kind of like going into shutdown mode. So I will just say goodnight. Thank you so much again. This has been a super nice experience with you by my side as always. So yeah, let's continue it next time, and until then, have a good rest of your week. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.